I am so sorry, y'all, but you guys are literally going to have to deal with me talking about Love Island stuff because I'm hooked now, okay? I really am. And I love how I was putting it off for so long, even though my homegirls were like, watch it, watch it, watch it. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to. And then now here I am that I'm like, so y'all should see my TikTok timeline that I'm like, oh, more Love Island, more Love Island. I'm just like, oh my gosh, y'all. Within today's video, though, we're going to be talking about Chelley calling out Huda, okay? And by the way, I have to say this from the jump of the video. I recently just saw that because of the Call Her Daddy podcast that Huda went on, Chelley and Olandria unfollowed Huda. So I'm like a little bit conflicted over here that I'm like, oh, damn. Because look, I got to keep it real. I did watch that full podcast and I was like, what she said in there, like, I guess maybe they took it the wrong way because Huda did say within there, like, she didn't really feel like she had like the girl support within the house, which I'm like, from what they showed on TV, honestly, it really did seem like they fully supported her. And I got to keep it real. I feel like they maybe supported her a little bit too much because I was like, damn, like me personally, even if I barely met somebody, if I saw them getting so damn attached to somebody after literally 2 days, I'd be like, hey, don't you think you're moving a little bit too fast here? Like, you're getting territorial over a man in a competition show, a love competition show. Don't you think that's a little bit weird that you're moving that fast? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have already said that. So I feel like they were low-key probably like playing into her delusion from what I've seen, which means that, you know, obviously they are having her back. But I guess they took that the wrong way, maybe, or maybe they took it like as offensive, as in like, girl, we did have your back. I really don't know what the reason is, okay? But they did unfollow her right after that. And actually, I did see on another TikTok too that I guess Chelley did comment underneath somebody's Instagram post too about them unfollowing, and she literally wrote on there because of the Call Her Daddy podcast. So I was like, well, that's confirmed right there. I do have to say this, okay? And I'm so sorry that this is probably my, like, what, third time bringing this up now. I'm still not getting the hype around the Huda thing, and everyone seems to love her. There is a good handful of people out there. I do have to say I have seen a couple TikToks, saying, calling her out and her things, and even after watching the Call Her Daddy podcast, if I'm keeping it real with you guys, she's giving me narcissism vibes. I am so sorry, but after watching that, I'm like, okay, she's opening up and I appreciate, all the things that she went through and I understand like, hey, maybe this is why, she acts the way that she does. I totally get that. However, still at the end of the day, like, I don't know, kind of own up to the things that you have done. And it seems like everything that she has owned up to, she's had a reason for. Do you know what I'm saying? Because everything that she's like says that she's done wrong, it's like, oh, because of this, but because of this, but because of this. So to me, it's not like fully acknowledging that you made them mistakes. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just me. And I don't know. Everything that I see within her, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm never really, I don't want to be one of those people, okay? But I'm never really wrong about people. And I'm like, there's something inside of me that I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, she seems cool, but then she seems like that type of person that I'd be like, I don't know about. You know what I mean? Also on the show, to me, I'm so sorry, but she seemed really unhinged. But I guess that's why people loved her because they're like, oh, well, shit, she's being fully authentic. You know what I'm saying? You know what's so crazy though is I actually literally right before filming this, I just got done watching the Kiki Palmer podcast with Olandria and Chelley on there. And it's so crazy that like they were talking about a lot of people were very like, mean towards them and kind of like bullying them online and saying that they were like mean girls. And I'm like, I'm so confused. I gotta keep it real. Chelley to me, I'm not even being shady. Chelley to me is just kind of like, whatever. Like, she was cool, but not like my favorite. Olandria was my favorite. I'm not understanding how, well, Alandria or Maya. I like really love them both. But I have to say, like, Alandria, I'm not understanding how people would like be bullying her online and saying that she was like a mean girl because I'm like, wait, at like what part? Like, to me, she seems so humble and sweet and mature and like graceful and like, I don't know. And seeing the whole way that she acted when Taylor dropped her ass, I would have lost my mind. I literally would have lost my mind. So that's why I'm just kind of like, I'm not getting how people are saying like, she's this or she's that. Cause I'm like, y'all, she seemed really well put together to me. I just have to say. Anyways, before jumping into this whole Chelley situation between Huda, because there seems to be a little bit of tension there, which I really want to talk about. Low-key, I wanted to talk about before. If you guys have not watched it yet, though, okay, like, oh my gosh. You know what? We're going to talk about it after. Let me shut up. I do want to go and talk about this Huda situation right here because she really did open up about her baby daddy on the Call Her Daddy podcast, okay? And apparently he had some things to say on his TikTok. He made a TikTok and people were saying that this was shade towards Huda. Can someone please explain this to me? How invested in the Roblox story of the day? Is he calling her a Roblox character? Like, does she have like a big head? Like, I'm genuinely asking because I'm like, I'm not understanding how that's shade towards Huda, but that's literally just what his caption was. And then everybody was commenting, about Huda, of course. And here's some of the comments. You literally said you didn't cheat, question mark, question mark. And then he says, during pregnancy, dot, 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 still true. So I guess he's saying that he did cheat on her, but just not during pregnancy, which, okay, like, is that something, like, I am so sorry. That's like a typical man response right there. Yeah, but I didn't cheat on you during pregnancy. Okay, so you cheated on me every other time? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm being honest with you guys, and y'all know that I'm not Huda's biggest fan, it's not like I like dislike her. I don't know. There's something about her. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm just kind of like, I'm sensing a little bit of narcissism. I think that's what it is. So it's not like I like hate her or anything, but he's making me defend her here because I'm like, okay, you're literally proving her point that, okay, you're over here during pregnancy, dot, 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 still true. To me, that means that, yeah, you did cheat on her every other time except for right there. Anyways, so because the podcast had just came out at the time of him posting this, okay, so somebody commented, so a little birdie told me, dot, 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 and then here he writes back, I made mistakes, but I didn't cheat during her pregnancy. It doesn't mean it's who I am. There's a reason she chose to have a kid and continue a relationship with me. I think he's over here trying to clear up his image because obviously, like, yeah, Huda did open up about, her past relationship with him and the fact that he did cheat and things like that. And it's like, you're not making yourself look any better by saying this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that he's over here, like, that's the second time, as you guys see, that he's focusing on during pregnancy. I don't know. Like, sometimes, y'all, I gotta keep it with you guys. I guess maybe there's just that side of me that's like, I guess I have a sick sense of humor or something because when I see men act like this, I just want to laugh because, like, are you really that fucking dumb? Like, you're just over here, like, during pregnancy. The fact that some men genuinely think, like, oh my gosh, I'm not that bad of a person because I didn't cheat on her during pregnancy. It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy to me. Anyways, somebody else commented right here. You didn't cheat once, but more. Like, what? Not true, he writes back. Anyways, Noah, you got a lot of explaining to do. All I'll say is don't believe everything you hear. I'm not here to clear stuff up anymore. I could easily prove things, but she's already going through a lot. No need to stir. I honestly have to say, from a response like that, in my personal opinion, yes, it seems like he's taking the high road. But then it almost seems like maybe she may have dirt on him. So he's like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and shut up right here because I'm not going to win this battle. Also, I do have to say this, speaking of winning the battle, okay? And y'all know I'm clearly at the point of, like, I really don't give a shit anymore. I will get up onto my channel and speak my opinion about someone like Huda, and I've clearly stated in 2 other videos that I'm like, homegirl to me is very unhinged, and she seems just very... like, oh my gosh, like, I think that she just definitely needs to calm down. She needs to do a little bit of soul searching. And I think also, too, from what I've seen, like, her version of taking accountability is so different than mine because it seems like she takes accountability, but then she gives a reason for, so therefore she's justifying it. So in my head, it's like, yeah, I'm going to acknowledge it, but then I'm going to justify it. Then to me, that's not taking accountability. That's you just saying, yeah, I realize what I did was wrong, but this is why I did it. But then you're justifying it. So therefore you're not, you know what I mean? Like, it cancels out. That's my, opinion over here. Anyways, I have to say, I feel like she needs, to... Anyways, I don't care. I'm always going to speak my opinion, okay? I got a little sidetracked right there. That's why I was like... Anyways, I'll always speak my opinion, especially when it comes down to her. But I do have to say, y'all, oh my gosh. I could understand why people would be scared because, damn, her followers are vicious. I'm reading all these damn comments and they have her back like no other. And I gotta keep it real with you guys. It scares me a little bit that so many people are so defensive over her because it's kind of like, whoa, the way that she was in the house and the things that she did, like specifically when she was yelling at Jeremiah like that, popping off on him, sorry. And, like, everybody seems to, like, condone that. That's crazy to me. Like, that was so uncalled for. And, yeah, sure, maybe he was being manipulative. Maybe he was love bombing. Maybe he was being a little bit of shady. Like, I get all of that. But you have to understand, if he's playing a little slick game over there, play his slick game with him, too. Don't pop off like that because then you look unhinged. You look crazy. And the fact that people are, like, defending it and they didn't even know behind-the-scenes stories, it's kind of like, whoa, that scares me a little bit that so many people defend that type of characteristics because those are not cute characteristics. And trust and believe that's coming from a bitch who used to be like that, okay? Literally, I am not kidding you. That used to be me. I didn't know how to process my emotions. I have said this for years on my channel. I have been that person because my mom is the same way. Like, I didn't know how to process my emotions, so I would just pop off. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, fuck you, bitch, blah, 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 blah. Like, I would just pop off, You don't want to be that person. Trust and believe I have ruined, some relationships in my life because of not just being able to sit there and say, hey, like, I was hurt by this and I popped off. So I would just be like, hey, let's, learn from that and let's not condone that behavior. But that's just me. And I could say that obviously because damn, like seeing Huda act like that, I was like, whoa, that used to be me. Let me not be that way no more. Anyway, somebody else commented right here, time to wrap it up, bro. That's how I had a kid, by not doing that. Anyways, she really called you out on the podcast, yet I remained quiet when I could really explain how shit actually was. I guess respect goes one way. I honestly was expecting, like, his ex to have this type of, sorry, her ex to have this type of reaction because going on such a big podcast and then obviously opening up and then making him, obviously, well, not making him look like the bad guy, but then obviously speaking about the bad things that have happened is going to make him look like the bad guy, of course. But I'm just kind of like, oh, damn, that's a little bit messy right there. I do want to go ahead and get into these Keke Palmer podcast clips right here. It's talking about like Olandria and Chelley. I have to say this because I've never used clips before from Keke Palmer's podcast. I may have to totally butcher it. I'm so sorry for copyright reasons, obviously. Hopefully I don't have to completely butcher it, but you guys will see. Because she did ask some really good questions about the whole Chelley situation between Huda. If you guys do not know what I'm talking about, okay, it was in one of the challenges. It was called the heart rate challenge, to where basically they had to go around. And by the way, I don't even know how it was documented about like who raised whose heart rate the most. Like, did they have to wear an Apple Watch to see whose heart rate went up? I didn't really catch that part of the show. Maybe I was like scrolling through TikTok during that. Nonetheless, though, they had to raise, people's heart rate. So the girls had to pull a guy and like twerk on them, like, do, kind of like provocative things on them to like get their heart rate up. That was part of the challenge, okay? So Huda pulled Chelley's man Ace, and she did some, in my opinion, okay, and this was another thing to see so many people justify this. I was just kind of like, whoa, she was a little bit much on that. I do have to play devil's advocate, okay? I could understand how she did get carried away because it was a challenge, and the whole point of that challenge was to get the heart rate up. So her twerking on him and things like that, like, I get it. Do you know what I mean? But also, it's kind of like, okay, that was a little bit much. Also, she could have done it on any other man, and she specifically knew that Chelley was with Ace. So it was a little bit like, oh, damn, like you had to go and pull her man. It did seem, a little bit wrong, but she did end up owning to that. She did end up apologizing for that. However, Keke Palmer, you guys are going to see in this clip that I play right here, she's asking Chelley, like, do you think that the response, was valid? And y'all can see that, like, Chelley, in my personal opinion, I don't think that she really likes Huda. So that's why, like, her unfollowing her, I'm kind of like, oh, damn. Like, it kind of seems like, okay, this is really proving something. But it is kind of crazy, though, because I guess, apparently, Chelley and Huda have kind of already stated online that they're cool with each other. But it don't seem that way. Check it out.
Okay, what didn't we see that happened during the heart rate challenge? Well, you know what's coming. What didn't we see? And maybe we saw it all. That also led to you being upset with Huda. By the way, maybe it's a Virgo thing, but I would have been pissed because what the hell, Mama?
No,
what the hell, Mama?
Yes,
Get
oh my
heart rate
gosh,
up.
yeah.
The hell are you doing?
To be honest, I don't know what, like, I still have not watched the episodes back. So that's my thing, is that I don't know what you guys saw that everyone felt like I was so wrong
You
for.
wasn't, girl.
And I'm like, I don't understand. No, then we wrong, because ain't no way. I was like, what did y'all see for y'all to feel like I'm wrong for being upset?
I haven't watched the episode, so I don't really know what they aired, but I feel like Chelley had every right to be upset. Huda agreed. She was like, you know what? She was like, I did take it too far. Like, I do apologize. Like, she was very apologetic.
Do you think Huda had a reasonable response?
No.
It's continue.
No.
Expand.
I mean, the apology stuff, like, that's reasonable. Like, you're trying to take accountability and stuff. Just the explanation is like apology, but so the explanation of things, it just didn't make sense. It would have just been better to just be like, sorry, that's it. To try to get me to understand why it was just like beyond me, because it's like, it's not like it's a legit good reason,
There y'all saw from right there, or maybe heard, depending upon how I have to edit it. Even Keke Palmer was like, get your man's heart rate up. Like, she could have pulled any other guy. She didn't have to specifically pull Ace. You know what I'm saying? And there you guys saw that obviously Chelley was like, like, this just was, completely uncalled for. And I have to say this, I think if the roles were reversed, say for example, if this would have happened during the time that Huda was with Jeremiah, Huda would have lost her fucking mind, and y'all know it. If you guys watch the show, even all of the Huda, like, stands out there who are so obsessed with her, y'all gotta keep it real and admit that she would have lost her mind if Chelley pulled Jeremiah like this and did all that with him specifically, knowing that she could have done that in any other man, including, obviously, the one that she was now temporarily, like, paired up with. Then obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like, hello, we can't be a hypocrite over here. And that's where I'm just kind of like, why are people like, oh no, Chelley was like totally overreacting? And I'm like, I just don't even get it. Like, even Keke Palmer was like, yeah, do that on your man. What the hell? And I'm sorry, but I really do agree. Like, I really do, because I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, she apologized for it. And hey, maybe she did get caught up in the moment. You know what I mean? Of like, oh shit, this is a challenge. Like, let me twerk it out. But like, damn, of all people, you had to choose him. You know what I mean? Like, why didn't you choose Chris or one of the other guys? You know what I mean? Like, why was it specifically him? And then I think the icing on the cake is that like Ace's heart rate got risen the most, or rose up the most, however the hell you say it, by Huda. So it was like, damn, you know what I mean? Nonetheless, though, okay, it seemed that, you know, she wanted to talk to her, and she seemed that like obviously she wanted to apologize for it. And oh my gosh, I got a hair stuck on my lip right here. Like, she apologized for it, and I totally get that. However, I don't know. I don't, maybe it wasn't authentic. I don't really know. Anyways, I do want to go ahead and play another clip right here, because this is where they were saying that like Huda is low-key not really a girl's girl, because obviously it just never would have been done in the first place. And I do have to say, I do feel like a lot of girls these days say they're a girl's girl, but then I feel like they're almost doing that just to make themselves, you know, seem a little bit better and seem like, oh, they really are like a good person. And it's like, I don't know if you are, because I really do think at the end of the day, if you are a girl's girl, you never would have done that from the jump. You know what I mean? Check this out.
When I call somebody, like, especially with the girls girl thing, someone being my friend, I'm always going to put you first and have consideration for your feelings. So even in something like a challenge, we're not winning no big grand prize after a challenge or anything. Like, it's literally just to say, oh my gosh, you did good in a challenge. So I'm never going to jeopardize me and someone else's friendship or their comfortability just to say I went crazy in a challenge. So like someone like Jeremiah, like I said, never kissed that man ever. Like, you know, I steered clear of him just because I know how intense and passionate you felt about him. So it's like, just to not see that reciprocated. And I'm trying to understand. I think at one point I told us I'm really trying to understand you, but I don't, only because I just don't see how a moment like this could cause you to like disregard someone you care about so deeply, your friends' feelings, just to do a performance.
There y'all saw from right there that she's literally saying like she steered clear of Jeremiah, which was true. I didn't see all her up on Jeremiah. You know what I mean? And I gotta keep it real. Oh my gosh, the more that I see of Jeremiah, like, okay, I know a lot of people don't like him, and he probably does have a lot of red flags, especially, y'all, is there something wrong with my brain that I feel like somebody that fine, like, just has to have a lot of red flags? Like, he has to be a cheater, he has to be a shitty person, he's just, I don't know, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, that man is just way too good looking, and I feel like 9 times out of 10, okay, maybe I'm just being negative or something, but I feel like 9 times out of 10, like, somebody who looks that good, like, they're not really a good person. You know what I mean? This is why everybody asks me my type, and I'm like, ugly. Like, let them be ugly. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I need me a good personality, and I feel like, I don't know, if somebody's like too good looking, like 9 times out of 10, they probably got a trash personality. They're probably boring and just like, you know what I mean? They're probably cheaters on top of that too, narcissistic, all of the above, you know what I mean? But anyways, I gotta say that, like, even she was saying like, oh, I didn't get up on Jeremiah like that, which is true. You know what I mean? Anyways, this barely came out, this podcast, but due to Alandria and Chelley unfollowing Huda, they have been getting so much hate on social media that I guess Huda had to even address this whole entire thing too. Because I gotta keep it real with you guys. This is where I don't understand the fandom. I don't understand the stands. I don't get this, because I gotta keep it real. I may watch, you know, a reality show or even like I don't know, a movie. Like, let's even say like a real celebrity. You know what I'm saying? I may be a fan of somebody's, but I'm never going to be a stan. I'm never going to be somebody who goes out there and comments like against people and talk shit to people. I've never understood that. To me, I gotta keep it real, it's very like bizarre behavior to go out there and to like bash other people simply because you like a person. Do you know what I mean? Sure, if you have your opinions, of course, be like, hey, like, I disagree. Like, y'all know me, I'm a very opinionated person, but I'm like, to go out there and just bash on people, to me, that's crazy. Like, I'm like, why are you doing that? You could get your opinion across without being mean, without being hurtful. And I guess apparently, because everybody has been calling it out recently that like Olandria and Chelley have unfollowed Huda, so they're like, oh shit, like there's some beef behind the scenes, because I guess apparently they were all staying in like an Airbnb after, and I guess like Huda and Chelley and Olandria, like they were all fine. And then the Call Her Daddy podcast came out, and then they unfollowed her, which I gotta keep it with you guys, you know, and like not even over here like defending Huda like that, but like I don't think what she said in the podcast was really that bad. You know what I mean? I do feel, in my personal opinion, because everyone's like, oh, she took accountability, blah, blah. I'm like, not really. Like, she's over here justifying everything. Do you know what I mean? I feel like somebody who takes accountability owns up to it and just says, I was wrong, point blank, period. That's it. Not I was wrong, but I did it because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, okay, but then you're justifying it. Like, we don't need an explanation. Like, we know why you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, end it on you fucked up and that was just it, you know? So I do want to go ahead and play this other clip right here to where Huda had to actually like get up on the internet and like say that she doesn't condone hate and all this, because damn, her followers are vicious. And I got to keep it real. I've been scrolling through TikTok as well as Instagram, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like her fans scare me, y'all. Honestly, I'm like, damn, why are they so aggressive? I'm not saying that's any of her doing by any means. I just don't know why it is, you know. Maybe it is by her doing, I don't know, maybe because she was so like unhinged on the show that like people, it's bringing that out within them. I don't really know. I'm just playing a little devil's advocate here because I'm like, damn, like to me it's crazy. Check this out.
Alandria, like I still love Alandria. Like if you know, if I'm not hating her, I don't think anyone should be. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but I think there are lines that are crossed. And I don't condone hate, I don't condone bullying, I don't condone anything of that. I think people's safeties are at risk. The last thing I want is for anyone to feel unsafe or to feel like they're getting some sort of backlash at my expense. I think that's ridiculous. I think, you know, everyone should be able to live their life normally. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You can say, hey, I don't agree with what you did, but you know, do it in a respectful way that's not like antagonizing. And, you know, even with Chelley, like me and Chelley, we're not the closest, but we're cool with each other. And, you know, it's, I do wish her the best and I do care for her as a person. We can still hug each other and say hi. It's not like a, oh, fuck you. Like, it's not that at all. And I don't think anyone should be getting any type of hatred at all. Like, I think we should focus more on positive than negative.
There y'all saw her say right there, like, she don't condone that. And yeah, people can get their opinions across. And I do agree with that as well, too. But you ain't got to be hateful. I do gotta say this though, I am curious to see, and I'm even more curious to see the reunion. It pisses me off that it is not all the way until August 25th. Like, damn, I gotta wait that long. And y'all know I told you guys I'm gonna be on a cruise, which by the way, I get off on my cruise on the 26th. So I'm like, but actually that day, oh my gosh, I'll probably be busy. So damn, I'm probably not gonna see it until the 27th. So I'm gonna be a couple days late. But y'all best believe that I hope some more things come out before then, because I feel like people are starting to like let out the truth now. I do feel like, if I'm keeping it real though, I do feel like because Huda is the most followed and clearly the most loved on the damn show, I think people are scared to speak out about her because they know they're going to get hate, because damn, her follow base, or her fan base, sorry, is like so massive now, and they are so aggressive, okay? Just a little bit. I'm just like, oh damn, why are you guys so vicious? That's my little 2 cents on everything, okay? Make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.